Hi and welcome to the latest edition of the Chelmsford Property Show. My name is Matthew Baldock and I'm one of the owners of Charles David Casson Estate Agents based in Chelmsford. Now those of you that watch the other episodes will notice a slight difference today in that my brother and co-business owner Neil isn't here unless I do this, in which case it looks like he's in the room. But he wasn't available today, and I want to talk about leasehold properties, so I've decided to go rogue and do this one on my own. Now, we've just listed a flat for sale in Springfield, and we got it under offer within a few days for the asking price, which I'm happy to say. But what it led to was a lot of questions from first-time buyers predominantly, about leaseholds. So I want to give a very brief overview. It is an in-depth subject, and I want to be clear from the start. If you are buying a leasehold property, you need to take some good, sound legal advice from your conveyancer or solicitor that specialises in conveyancing. But we'll kind of give a broad overview here today. So there are two common types of property: freehold and leasehold. And again, you can get a leasehold house, but most people commonly associate freeholds with houses because basically you own the building and the land that it's on. So any mortgages aside, no one can take that property from you, bar, I believe, the Queen. But from what I hear, she's not in the market for a 3-bed semi in Chelmsford, so you should be fairly safe. Leasehold properties are traditionally flats, but again, not exclusively. The reason being you own that bit of the building, but you don't own the land, you lease the land. Hence, with leasehold properties, there comes a ground rent. Now, on ex-council properties, that can be anything from just £10 a year. It can go, it's fairly common in Chelmsford to be about £250, sometimes up to £500 a year. And then the other charge that comes is a service or a maintenance charge. And so with that, that basically covers the cleaning of the communal areas. If there's gardens, they're looking after that. It will also include your buildings insurance a lot of the time, because obviously it would be a nightmare if every single owner had the separate buildings insurance, so you'll get your buildings insurance. So real kind of key difference: freehold, you own it all basically, and your only bills will tend to be your mortgage and your utilities. With a leasehold property, you're effectively leasing the land, and on top of your utilities and your mortgage, you'll also have a service charge and a ground rent. But when you go to buy a property, these should be found by your conveyancer. Will basically ask for a leaseholder management pack, and all the charges will be detailed there. So you should be going into everything with your eyes open and seeing exactly what there is. Now, with leases, a common question is how long is left on the lease. So when leases are first granted, they tend to come, again, there can be variances, but the standards are 99, 125, or even some 999 years. Which are fantastic if you can find them, and obviously they go down every year. I've never had one that got to 0, but if it had, effectively your lease runs out and you hand it back to the freeholder, so you obviously never want to get in that position. Now there are lots of kind of different stories about how long leases can be, if you can get mortgages on them, etc. The general rule of thumb is that mortgage lenders want 25 years after the term of your mortgage. So if you take a mortgage on a 25-year term, they're going to want at least 50 years left on the lease, because then when your 25 years is up, they still have 25 years. You will hear a lot, if it's under 80 years, it's difficult to mortgage, etc. Don't get me wrong, every single mortgage lender would love it to be 80 years or above. But we sold a flat recently with a 63-year lease, and that was mortgageable. And there was a fair amount of choice. I've just sold one with a 57-year lease, and again, we could get a mortgage on the property, but your choices were limited slightly. So generally, the lower the lease, especially under 75 years, while mortgageable, your options just become a little bit tighter. So again, that's something, if you're looking at a leasehold property, ask how long is left on the lease, and then speak to your mortgage broker or your bank and say, can I confirm I can get the product you've offered with this length of lease. Leases can be renewed. If you've owned a property for 2 years, the freeholder has to renew. You can ask at any time, but after 2 years, you have the right to renew. There obviously is a cost for that. The 2-bed flats set up here in North Springfield, where we trade predominantly, can come in at around £15,000. So if you're buying a flat and you know the lease is going to have to be renewed in your ownership time, you want to make sure that the asking price or the price you pay reflects the fact you're going to have to increase the lease at some point. So again, just a really brief overview there. As I say, it's an incredibly in-depth subject, and there isn't just leasehold and freehold. There's common hold, share of freehold, and it can go on and on. But if you want to discuss anything like that in any more depth, I'll happily talk to you. You can get in touch with us at the office. But as I say, hopefully that's given you kind of an idea of the main differences and what leaseholds are about. So thank you for watching. If you could please give this a like and give it a share, would much really appreciate that. You can find us on Facebook just by searching Charles David Casson Estates, or you can find us on Twitter. The handle is @CDC_Twitter. And if you tweet us with the hashtag Chelmsford Property Show with any questions, I'd be delighted to answer them next time. Not that I'm childish, but because I've done this one by myself, it would be fantastic if we got extra likes and extra shares this time, because Neil would love that. But as I say, any questions, anything we can help with, please do get in touch. And again, the Facebook page is Charles David Casson Estates, and Twitter is @CDC_Chelmsford. So that's all from me, Matt Baldock, and that's all from me, Neil Baldock, and we look forward to seeing you soon. Take care.